Hi, this is Mrs. Gifford, and this is lesson 6.4 in our math book. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we are going to review our greater than, less than, and equal symbol because we are going to be comparing a lot of different numbers today, and these symbols are going to help us do that. So the first two numbers that we are going to compare with one another are 3,176 and 3,182. So you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I already know which one is bigger. But what would you say if someone were to say to you, prove it? Or how can you prove it? Or how can you know for sure that that number is bigger? So I'm going to show you one way that you can prove that one is bigger than the other. And that is going to be through place value drawings. So for my number 3,176, I'm going to start in my thousands place. There are 3 1,000s in my thousand place. So I'm going to draw 3 of my 1,000 bars. There you go, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to move on to my hundreds place. There is only one 100 in my hundreds place. So how do we represent 100? With our hundreds square. Now I'm going to move on to my tens place. There are 7 tens in my tens place. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 10 sticks in my tens place to represent 7 tens. And then I'm going to move on to my ones place. There are 6 ones there. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones dots to represent my 6 ones. Now I'm going to do the same thing for my other number. So again, starting with my thousands place, I'm going to do 3 thousands bars. Going on to my hundreds place, I have 1 hundreds square. Going down to my tens place, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens sticks. And then I have 1, 2 of my ones. So now I'm going to look at my place value drawings. And first I'm going to start with my thousands bars. So this one has 1, 2, 3 thousands bars. And this one also has 1, 2, 3 of those thousands bars. So that doesn't really help me yet. So then I'm going to move on to my hundred squares, which has more hundred squares. This one has 100 square. This one has 100 square. So far one isn't bigger than the other. So let's move on to our tens sticks. Which one has more 10 sticks? So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 10 sticks. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 10 sticks. We know that 8 is bigger than 7. We have more tens in this number, so this number is going to be bigger, 3,182. Even though our thousands places were the same and our ones place, or not our ones, our hundreds places were the same, this tens place was bigger than this tens place, making this number bigger. So just a reminder, if you have a hard time remembering which way our greater than or less than signs go, remember to think of it as like an alligator. And the alligator's really hungry and it wants to eat whichever number is bigger. So its mouth is going to be open to whichever side is bigger. So if this is our alligator, his mouth is open, ready to chomp on this number because it's bigger. Now I'm going to show you another method of comparing numbers by stacking them up like this. So you're going to make sure that each of your place values are lined up. just like if we were adding or subtracting, you know how it's really important to line up those place values. It's really important for this method as well. So I'm using the same numbers, 3,176 and 3,182. And I'm just going to go through each of the place values and compare them. So I'm going to start in my thousands place. I'll circle them just to show that that's what I'm looking at. And both of my thousands places are the same. So I'm going to move on to my hundreds places. I'm going to circle my hundreds places. Both hundreds places are also the same. So I'm going to move on. Then I'm going to circle my tens places. Ooh, which is bigger, 7 tens or 8 tens? 8 tens is bigger. So that's going to tell me that this number, 3,182, is bigger than 3,186 because it has more tens. So this method of lining it up by the place values and circling the place values is especially helpful if you are asked to place more than 2 numbers in the order that they go from greatest to least. So I've got 3 spots here, 3 numbers here, and I want to know which one is biggest to smallest. Okay, so first we're going to compare our thousands place. Okay, so are any of the thousands places different in any of those numbers? No, they're all one in the 1,000s places. Okay, so then we're going to move on to our hundreds place. So are any of those numbers in the hundreds places different? Yes. Our third number, our green number down here, has a 6 in the hundreds place. So are 600s bigger than 500? Yes. So that's going to tell us that this green number, 1,637, is our biggest number because it has the most amount of hundreds. So I'm going to write that as my biggest number first. Okay, so now we have to find out what's the next biggest number. So I'm going to move on to my tens place. I'm going to circle my tens place, and I'm going to compare those. I've got an 8, a 4, and a 3. Well, I don't really need to compare the 3 anymore because we already know that that's the biggest number, right? So if I have 8 tens or 4 tens, which one's bigger? 8 tens is more than 4 tens, so that tells me that that number is bigger. So in my second place for biggest number, I have 1,580. So that leaves the last number, 1,547, to be my smallest number. You can also use this method if you are asked to order numbers from the least to the greatest. So this time, this is going to be my smallest number, and this is going to be my biggest number. So from smallest to biggest. So I'm going to start again in my thousands place. So I'm going to circle my thousands place. Is there one that's different? Yes. So there's 1 in this thousands place. Is 1,000 bigger or smaller than 2,000? It's smaller. So if I'm going from smallest to biggest, I'm going to put my smallest number here, which we already know from our thousands place is going to be this top number because 1,000 is smaller than 2,000. So I'm going to cross that one out. We don't even have to compare it anymore because we know it's the smallest. Then I'm going to go to my hundreds place. Circle my hundreds place. Are either of those different? No, they're the same. So that means we have to move on and look at our tens place. So I'm going to circle my tens place. I've got an 8 in my tens place here and a 9 in my tens place here. Those are different, right? And 9 tens is going to be bigger than 8 tens, meaning that this number is going to be bigger, and I want the next smallest number. So the next smallest number is going to be 2,383. which leaves our biggest number as 2,398. All right, so now I'm going to show you a couple of different ways, a couple of new math tools for you to use if you are comparing numbers from a word problem. So this problem says, David has 5 marbles. Anna has 8 marbles. How many more marbles does Anna have than David? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little drawing. So I'm going to label A for Anna, and I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 marbles for Anna. Then, right underneath, I am going to draw David's marbles. So David has 5 marbles, so I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marbles. Now we want to know how many more marbles Anna has than David. So if I just match up these marbles that Anna has, the same amount that David has, these are going to be the marbles that she has more than David. So how many marbles does she have more than David? She has 1, 2, 3 more marbles than David. I'm going to say 3 more marbles. There you go. But there is another way that we could represent this, because this might get kind of hard to do if we have a lot bigger numbers. So if you are a little bit more visual, but don't have the time to write out, say, 100 marbles, we can represent it in a little bit of a different way. So first, we're going to put a little bar on top. So this bar represents Anna's marbles. So I'm going to put Anna there. And in that bar, I'm going to put that she has 8 marbles. Now I know that David has less marbles than her because 5 is less than 8. So I'm going to do another bar to represent how many marbles David has. And I'm going to put how many he has there. I'm going to put his name right here. David has 5 marbles, and we want to know how many more marbles he would need to equal the number of marbles that Anna has. So if he has 5 marbles, and then he had 3 more, then he would have the same amount as Anna. So if we took out those 3 marbles, he has 3 less than Anna. So Anna has 3 more marbles than David. So you can kind of see how those might be a little bit similar. We call this a comparison bars. So that is another way that you can compare who has more marbles. All right, so let's quickly do one more example problem using our comparison bars. So this one says, Rocky has 7 fishing lures. Megan has 12 fishing lures. How many fewer fishing lures does Rocky have than Megan? So with our comparison bars, the biggest number, or the bigger number, is going to go in the top box here. So who has more fishing lures? It's Megan, right? So I'm going to label this box as Megan. She has 12 fishing lures. So then I'm going to label this box as Rocky. He has 7 fishing lures. So basically we have to figure out 7 plus what equals 12. So I'm going to think about that for a second. I could also do 12 minus 7 if that works easier for you. And I know that 7 plus 5 equals 12. So Rocky has 5 fewer fishing lures than Megan.